Hello everyone, welcome again to my channel. So in this episode we are going to talk about writing, as long as it is one of the most common problems that many students find. So writing actually is very important for all students who are going to, or everyone who is going to take an exam. That has the writing component. For example, it can be TOEFL test or baccalaureate exam or any university test or exams. So in this episode, I'm going to give you 5 essential tips that you can follow to develop, to improve your writing skill. In this episode, I'm going to share with you 5 essential tips that can help you develop your writing skill. Okay, now let's start with number 1. What is number 1? Number 1 is this: reading. Now actually, writing and reading are inextricably linked. If you don't read for sure, you will never feel improved as far as writing is concerned. Okay, so reading is one very essential tip that you have to keep in mind to develop your writing. Now, reading what? You can read stories, you can read novels, you can read books, etc. Now, how do you think reading can help you develop your writing skill? 1, read and take notes. Okay, now take notes of what? What are we going to take from the novel or from the book we are reading? So we can take different things. For example, you can take vocabulary. This is number 1. You can also take something like expressions, interesting expressions that you come across, quotes, if you come across some interesting quotes, proverbs, if you find proverbs, okay? So these are things that you can take when you are reading, okay? So as you can see here, it's very clear that reading is one way to develop your vocabulary repertoire, okay? So vocabulary, expressions, quote, and proverbs are things that you need in writing. So this is number 1. Number 2, I'd like you to keep in mind, as far as reading is concerned, is very simply writing, to write. Now, writing or write what? When you are reading, what are you going to write? You can write, for example, something like summary, for instance, write summaries. Summaries of what? You can write a summary of chapter, for example, of parts, each part, and you can also write summary of the whole book or novel or story you read. You can write summary of each chapter, part, or a book. So you read the first chapter, you understand it, you can write a paragraph about it, about that chapter. You can write a paragraph, for example, or paragraphs about parts. Okay, the parts of the book, for example. The book has parts. You can write a summary for each part. Or you can write a summary of the whole book or the whole novel or the whole story you read. Okay, so this is a way that will help you develop your writing skill. For example, here is a book that I have just finished reading. So if you look at this, this is a summary that I wrote about this book. So by doing this again and again, over and over, you develop your writing skill. Okay, you develop your writing skill. This is tip number 1. Read, and read. Okay, this is number 1. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 is what I called practice. Practice is very important for writing. Why is very important? Because you will not become a good writer overnight. Never. You will never be so. Therefore, to write good composition is to practice. Try to practice again and again. This is one example of practicing that has to do with reading. What else? What else you can do to practice? You can think and write. Think about what? Think about a certain topic. Okay, topics, a lot of topics you can think about. Okay, topics: smoking, immigration, social problems, stories, events, celebrations, etc. So these are topics that you can think about. When you think about a certain topic, try to write about it. Start with paragraphs, then write essays, etc. Okay, just think about a certain topic and write about it. Don't be afraid. This is something that you can do at home and you can do it alone by yourself. Okay, all right. Another thing that I'd like you to keep in mind is to repeat. Okay, to repeat or rewrite again. Okay, or rewrite. For example, today you write about, for example, immigration. It's not a problem tomorrow, for example, to rewrite about immigration or rewrite about any other topic. Never mind. But to rewrite in a different way, in other words. So it's not a problem to rewrite about the same topic. So the most important thing is to practice again and again. Okay, all right. Something else that I'd like you to keep in mind, especially for university students. Now, university students have they study what we call subjects. They study, for example, culture, media, for instance. They study linguistics, sociolinguistics, applied linguistics, etc., etc. What I'd like you to keep in mind is don't wait till the day of the exam to write. No, this is not good. Your composition, your writing will not be straightforward. Therefore, I advise you to try to think about topics related to culture and write about it at home. Try to think about topics related to media, for example, if you study media, and write about it. Write about that at home. Try to practice alone. Don't wait till the day of the exam and you write. For sure, you will not get high marks and your writing will not be as it should be. So this is some pieces of advice that you should never forget. Think about topics related to the subject you study and write about that. Write, practice again and again, okay? So this is for practicing. Now let's go to number 3. Step number 3, I advise you to make portfolio or what we call writing file, okay? Writing file. Try to make a writing file. What do you mean by writing file? For example, here in practicing, you write paragraphs or essay or reports or articles, whatever. What are you going to do? Is it good, for example, to just write and throw in the rubbish bin? That's not good. That's not good. So what are you going to do is to collect what you write in a file, in a writing file. So you can make file, for example, like this. So this is a kind of file, okay? Why do you think this is very important? This is very important for what we call self-correction. And when I say collect the writing, what you write in a file, I don't mean just collect and forget about it. No. Collect, put in a file and try to read again. Try to read from time to time, okay? Try to read and not only read and edit. So when you read your essay after, for example, a week or after a month or after a year, for sure you will discover, for sure you will feel whether you are improved or not. So this file is the one that will tell you whether you are improving or not, okay? Whether you are improving or not, okay? So this is the main importance of writing file. Make a writing file for self-correction, for this kind of feeling, to discover whether you are improving or not, okay? Number 4 is also very interesting, is what we call sharing. All right, sharing. So share what you write with friends. So I said friends, or it can be even classmate, for example. Why do you think you have to share with friends or classmates? Why do you think this is very important? It is very important because you learn from your mistakes, okay? You learn from your mistakes. And when you correct his, again, the same. He learns from his or from her mistakes, okay? So this is the importance of sharing with friends and classmates, to correct each other and to learn from each other, okay? To learn from each other, okay? This is number 1. And you can also share with, for example, teachers. So if you know teachers, either your teachers or other teachers who can read your writing and correct it for you, it's good, very good. Share with them. They will read your writing, they will give you remarks. Those remarks will be essential for you to develop your writing skill, okay? So share with your friends, with your classmates, and your teacher. Now, the last one, number 5 is writing methodology or writing techniques, okay? Writing techniques. What you are required to write in exams, for example, is not something related only to vocabulary and putting sentences together to make paragraphs, to make essays, etc. No, writing actually has methodology. What I mean by methodology here is how to write. How to write, for example, paragraphs, how to write essays, how to write reports, how to write articles, etc., etc. This is number one. So it's very important to familiarize yourself with the writing techniques, the writing methodology, how to write paragraphs, how to write essay, etc., etc. Also, I'd like you here, as far as this is concerned, I'd like you to keep in mind some writing etiquette, for example, what we call COPs. So try to learn about capitalization, cases of capitalization, organization, how to organize your writing. Try also to learn about punctuation and spelling. Again, I'd like you here to keep in mind when you are writing for exams or a test, for example, try always to make your writing attractive, so as to make the reader and the corrector read with passion, interest and desire. Okay, so this is what you can do. You should make your writing different, and for sure 100% you will get high marks. Okay, so these are the 5 essential tips that I'd like you to follow and like you to keep in mind to improve your writing skill. Reading to develop your vocabulary repertoire, to learn different expressions, quotes, proverbs, etc., etc. Okay, try to practice. Again, practice either by writing summaries of what you read or by just thinking about topics and write about it. University students, don't wait till the exam, the day of the exam. No, try to think about a topic related to the subjects you are studying and write about it. Get yourself ready. Get ready for the test, for the exam. File. What you write here, what you write in practicing, don't throw it away. No, keep it. Keep it in file. From time to time, try to go back again and read it. And number 4, sharing. Don't just keep it on you. Share with teachers you know. Share with your friends. Share with your classmates, to get remarks, to learn from your mistakes. Okay, and the last one, number 5, methodology. These are tips, pieces of advice based on my personal experience. I hope you learned from this. If you have any question or suggestion, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. See you in another episode. Have a good time and goodbye.